This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com. And if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Aries and Aries rising, welcome to your horoscope for the new moon in Leo happening on July the 29th at 3:54 a.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. Golly gosh, this has been like squeezing blood from a stone. I tell you what, I've been trying to do this for ages, and because of a whole bunch of turbulence in Taurus in my third house, I can't communicate. I'm trying to, and I'm making a real effort. I hope this doesn't feel labored. Let's journey together, Aries. So a new moon in Leo is the perfect time for you to reignite, to light the spark, or to take the spark and to light the fire. Leo rules your fifth house. This is creativity. This is self-expression. This is sexuality in a lot of ways. It's the way of intermingling with others and being cute and going on dates and realizing the power that you have and the joy that comes from riding on the back of a lion. There is a lot to be worked with here, and you know, if you're going to say a prayer, say a wish, what better and more exciting space than to do it in the fifth house, to reacquaint yourself with your artistry, with your expression is the best word for it, I think, for the fifth house. It's how we express ourselves. So harness that lion. Take this evening to yourself and to really relish in everything that you have to offer in terms of the way that you can express yourself and the modes in which you choose to do that. If there's areas in life lately that have been feeling a little bit stilted, or you've been feeling blocked in that way, that maybe you're feeling bound a bit by not being able to express yourself or to commune with other people, to connect with others in that way of confidence and of pride and of individuality, then go for it at this new moon. Call in that confidence. That's the best thing to do at this new moon. There is some turbulence that's brewing. There's a real reverberation and a rumbling that's happening elsewhere in Taurus. Taurus has had its fair share of side hits this year, and it's going to continue, I think, until July 2023. We've spoken about this. The eclipse axis lays in Taurus and Scorpio. So where we're experiencing eclipses, lunar and solar, all plays out on that particular axis. Taurus is your second house, so this is your money-making potential. It's how you can provide for yourself. It's your talents and your self-worth and your access to material security. So this has been a difficult area, maybe a little bit of a soft spot for you, Aries, for the past bit of time, maybe since November and potentially until July, but it's okay. It's stuff that we can work with, and if we use the eclipses as that moment to shed and to let go of what we no longer need, or that could be thought patterns or otherwise, you know, it's how we see ourselves as providing for our needs. There is a triple conjunction happening here in Taurus just a couple of days after this new moon. So if we use the new moon as a reprieve, as a beautiful space of sitting by the wishing well and hoping and dreaming and kind of maybe finding some inspiration, if you can maybe spend a bit of time with your journal or with your sketchbook or whatever it is, like what projects are you cooking up and how can you make them come into reality? How can you voice them first up at the new moon and put them into the ether and allow them to materialize as time goes on? That's the positivity, that's the light that we can use. Leo is ruled by the sun. So think about that. Think about the warmth of those sorts of notions. This will help in battling or dealing with this triple conjunction. So this hasn't happened, this particular conjunction in this particular sign, for about 2,500 years, since the time of Alexander the Great. So the way that astrology works sometimes, and how people, not all, but how some astrologers attempt to predict what might happen in the future, is that they look at a conjunction that's happening and the specifics of that, and then they look to the history books and see when was the last time that that happened and what was experienced in humanity, in our conscious awareness at that time. So the triple conjunction takes place between the North Node, which is our sort of focal point. These eclipses are happening there, so it's that the focus where you've been asked to look at your potential to take care of yourself. You've been asked to really examine where your talents can start producing and where you can find that space of what am I trying to say? Like, how can you make it work for you, Aries? How can you make everything that you are, all of the beautiful aspects that make up your personality and your soul, how can you make this work for you? How can you harness and funnel that into your access to material comfort and safety, to money, to cash, to coin? So that's been rocky ground. Uranus, the rebel planet, the planet of revolution, the one that flips the table, is lining up in exact conjunction with the North Node. So there's going to be some potential, maybe some access points or some epiphanies that might be occurring to you at the moment. Things that you didn't think about before, but you're sort of like, oh, this is how this can work for me. This is what I can do. The third element of this triple conjunction is Mars, which is your ruler. You know Mars very well. Mars is the warrior. Mars is the one with the box of matches that starts all the fires, that starts things off, that protects itself, that protects its battalion, protects its family and friends, and is the I don't believe in war and I don't believe in in violence. I'm a pacifist, but it's the fire starter. It's the warrior. Think about that. You're a warrior princess, Aries. So this triple conjunction includes this energy. So whatever is maybe cropping up for you in your material world, in the way that you perceive your talents, then this could be really positive energy, and it could be this moment that happens, this triple conjunction. It happens a couple of days after the new moon on the 31st of July, the 1st of August. So keep your consciousness open to revolution or resolution in terms of some of these things. Be mindful that you don't jump into the fire, but also if it's presenting itself to you and it's going to be a really great activation for how you're going to provide for yourself and what your talents are really worth, and I say do it. I say really go for it. Collectively, we're all feeling this. You know, Aries, you lead the charge. What you feel reverberates throughout the collective consciousness. In the natural zodiac, that's the one that you use to navigate this life if you're an Aries rising. So this experience that is intrinsic to your micro experience is in fact in the macro as well. So there might be conversations that you're having with others in terms of how we go. I can't do this anymore. I refuse to accept my pittance for the amount of energy that I put out into the world and the amount of work that I do, and what I'm worth is much more than what I've been given. That could be something to really kind of feel that you're being aided and abetted by the planets in that way. So, and think about the relationship between your creativity and your flirtation, and how can that be put to best use? What do you need to activate in your your lion child body? Like, what do you need to activate again and to re-submerge in? Maybe you need to get out the little black book, or maybe you need to go on some dates. Maybe you need to commune with other folks in that really cute, beautiful, vibrant, juicy, flirtatious way. Maybe you need to hang out with some kids. Maybe you just need to like play in a sandpit and drop everything and remember what it is to be a little kid. That's a real yeah, that's some sage advice from me to you for this new moon. I think that's a really good way to put it. So we don't use astrology we're not doomed to it. That's another thing to really remember, and that's at the forefront of my mind when putting together any of these readings, or when I work with people in their birth charts. We're not doomed to anything that's written in the patterns of the birth chart. We can work with it and we can play it like music. We can really, funnel our intent and our integrity and our intentions into the places that are in line with what's going on in the universe, but we're not doomed to anything. So don't feel that if you're feeling unstable financially, then first of all, I know how that feels, and I really empathize with you, Aries. I can get that. I know what it feels like to be out of pocket. It can be really scary, particularly as we're sort of moving to, everyone's battening down the hatches, and it's a good time to keep that in mind. It's probably a good time to remember some of the importance of being self-sustainable, but it's not to feel gagged by it or to feel restricted by it. This is an opportunity for you to move forward and to be bold. So that's the astrology. That's some nice astrology there. I'm going to pull you some tarot cards now. I didn't mention the tarot cards that line up with these points in the zodiac, but they've come out a couple of times for other readings, so we can talk about that. I can incorporate those cards into this spread. But please, Spirit, I'd love some affirmations for my beautiful Aries. I'm using the Golden Girls Tarot as well. So what can the girls from Miami impart to my beloved Aries on their reactivation of their lion space? What do they need to know? I've got two. I've got the moon. Lovely. The Wheel of Fortune. Oh, there's three here. Oh, wow. The Ten of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Star. There's going to be a clearing coming up for you, Aries. I'm getting a sense that with this moon influence, the shadow part of your persona might be rearing its head and saying hello and wanting to be soothed in a lot of ways. It would depend on what your moon sign is. We can go into that in a private reading, but the moon is our shadow. The moon is the parts of our makeup that have less light shone on them but move mountains. If you think about the moon's effect on the tides, if she's full or if she's dark, and the way that she quite literally moves water. We're 60% water, so we can't help but be affected by the moon's influence. So there's some shadow here. There's some I'm getting a sense that maybe this has come at the right time for you, this little message of self-activation and of pride. Use all of the essential elements, the beautiful parts of Leo and of the lion spirit to your benefit, to reactivate your sense of ego. Ego isn't a dirty word. You know, it can be used against us, and it can be difficult to work with someone who is acting only from their lower ego. But we need our ego to make sense of what's going on around us. We need that sense of individuation from everyone else to translate and to you know, if humanity is the throat chakra of the universe, it's our job to express it. And we can only express that from our lived experience, from our ego, from our personality. So I feel that you're on the beginning of something brand new. There's a turning of the wheel, and there's a real sense of good fortune that's coming up for you, Aries. That's really quite evident here in this reading. I feel the pressure, I feel the weight on your back. It's okay, I understand. But there's going to be a flash, there's going to be a truth that comes to you. The pieces are going to come and fit together, and you're going to have this sense of kind of having nothing to hide. There's going to, maybe this could be a physical rupture in your environment. There could be a blunt shift that has to happen, or that's inevitable, that's coming up for you, that may feel like it's a bit doomed. But understand that through trauma comes a clearing, and comes a sense of real realization and real wonderment and contentment. So it might be dissatisfying to hear, and if it is, you know, you can tell me to shut up. But this too shall pass. Whatever it is that might be bubbling up, whatever kind of, it could be anger, it could be aggression, it could be sadness, it could be moon stuff. This is a wave. Roll with that wave and know that you've got a real clearing coming up, and there's going to be a real sense of understanding, and it's going to really clarify in your mind, oh, this is why this happened, because I needed to be here. Yeah, that's your reading, Aries. That's a lovely one. All my very best. I love you dearly. If you wanted to give me a tip, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and throw some money in the pot. I'm paying my bills with the tips these days, so that's great. They're always very gratefully received. If you wanted your birth chart read, again, you can head to umaruby.com, and there's a menu of different journeys that we can take together. If there's something specific that you wanted to focus on, if there was an element that you wanted to focus on, then we can find the pathway there. Until I speak to you in 2 weeks for the full moon in Aquarius, that's it. All my love. Take care, and I'll speak to you then. Bye.